I interact with a lot of teenagers these days, whether it's through my work, my writing, and through my own home. I'm a father to a teenager and a young adult daughter, which puts me in a pretty good situation to say some of what I'm about to say today. I get to observe this stage from both sides, not just as someone who's been through it, but also as someone who's watching it unfold again right in front of me. And before we go ahead, let me say that even if you are not a teenager yourself, this video might still be relevant to you. Because chances are you might be a parent to one, or maybe you are a teacher, an older sibling, or simply someone trying to understand this phase of life a little better. Either way, this is for you too. Now, I want to be honest, most of what I'm about to share probably won't make complete sense right now, especially if you're a teenager. You may nod politely and think, yeah, I've heard that before, and that's perfectly fine. Some lessons in life are like seeds. You don't understand them when they're planted. They need time, they need sunlight, and a few storms before they begin to grow roots. So think of this as a set of seeds, those 11 small lessons that may not bloom today, but one day when life decides it's time for you, they will. My first lesson for you is that popularity fades, but character does not. Now, when you're a teenager, it feels like being liked by everyone is everything. You wear the right clothes, the right friends, the right opinions, and they all seem to matter so much. But as you grow older, you start to realize that the people who once seemed larger than life, the louder ones, the ones who dominated every room, they slowly fade into the background. And what remains, what people truly remember, is character. Not your coolness, not your grades, but how you made others feel when you were with them. Were you kind with them? Were you honest with them? Were you someone who could be trusted? Popularity is short term, it's loud, it's temporary, but character is long term. It's permanent. So don't try to be impressive, try to be real. The world eventually forgets the people who wanted attention, but it never forgets those who offered genuine warmth. My second lesson for you as a teenager is that failure is not the opposite of success. It's the path to it. And failure in everyone's life, it feels awful when it happens. I've seen it in my own kids, in my own self when I was a teenager. A bad exam, a sports loss, a rejection, it feels like the world has ended. But in truth, every person you admire today, every writer, every entrepreneur, every athlete, artist, actor, they've failed more times than they've succeeded. My biggest lesson in life is that you cannot learn resilience from books. You learn it from disappointments, from showing up again after you've been hurt. You learn it by falling and realizing you didn't break, you just bent, and for the short term. The trick is not to glorify failure, but to learn from it. So learn to reflect, learn to adjust, and keep walking. Success is not a straight road. It's a winding road with a few wrong turns that teach you where not to go next. The third lesson is that your phone gives you dopamine, but real life gives you meaning. And let me be honest here. Our phones are practically glued to our hands today. But most of what we consume there is designed to give us small hits and bits of pleasure, not long-lasting fulfillment. Social media tells you that everyone else's life is perfect, whether it's their vacations, their friendships, their bodies, their portfolios if you're an investor. But the truth is that they're only posting the right highlight or the highlight reel, not the behind the scenes mess that they have in their lives. Meaning doesn't come from likes or notifications. It comes from connection. It comes from the real, the unfiltered kind of connections. It comes from conversations that make you laugh uncontrollably. It comes from small acts of kindness, from moments when you forget to take your phone out because you're too busy living. Your phone gives you distraction, as simple as that. But life gives you depth. And as you grow older, you'll crave depth more and more. The fourth lesson, which I want to share with you today as a teenager, is that your mind is your real home. So it's very important to clean it very often. You can move houses, you can switch cities, you can even reinvent yourself over time, but you'll always live inside your mind. If that home is messy, dirty, with resentment, envy, and noise, no amount of external success will feel like peace. So make time to tidy your mind, reflect, try to meditate if you want, journal, go for a walk without headphones, learn to sit in silence. Clear thinking does not arrive when life slows down, it arrives when you do. And when you think about mental clutter that social media is getting us to, it is invisible, but it is heavy. When you clear it, you'll realize that life feels lighter. Possibilities open up and you start seeing things as they are, not as your fears make them out to be. The fifth lesson is that the world does not owe you anything, but it rewards those who contribute. Now, there's a strange idea floating around the world that the world should somehow give us success, it should give us happiness or recognition. But life doesn't work that way. That's something which I have learned over the years. The world does not owe us anything, and that's actually good news because it means you're free to create your own worth. If you show up to help, to add value, to make a small difference to other people's life has a way of quietly repaying you. You earn trust by being trustworthy. You earn opportunity by being useful. You earn love by being kind. And the day you stop waiting for the world to be fair and start focusing on how you can contribute, you shift from being a passenger in life to being the driver. The sixth lesson is that being alone is not the same as being lonely. And there's a big difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation hurts, and I'm sure you understand that. But solitude heals, which you're going to understand over a period of time. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you stop fearing empty rooms and quiet evenings. You realize that peace doesn't always need some background music. Some of the wisest people I know, they spend a lot of time alone. And not because they don't like others, but because they enjoy being with themselves. And that's where you start discovering your real thoughts, your real interests, and your real dreams. This ability to be comfortable with yourself alone in silence, I think is a rare strength. People who can be at peace alone never settle for any shallow company. The seventh important lesson I want to share is to compare less and create more. Comparisons in our life begin really early, whether it's about marks, grades, looks, or achievements, and it never really stops unless you make it stop. It's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick. Every time you look left and right and you compare your life to others, your possession to others, you give your power away. You start measuring your worth using someone else's ruler. And the worst part, you stop growing on your own terms. The cure, I think, is simple but powerful. And it's to create art, create ideas, create stories, create solutions. Creation pulls you out of envy and into possibility. You cannot compare yourself to others when you're busy building something that's uniquely yours. So focus less on how you rank and focus more on what you are becoming. The eighth big lesson that I want to share with you today as a teenager is that discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is wonderful, but unreliable. So stop searching for it. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's what keeps you moving when you don't feel like it. If you can do the small things like waking up on time or reading a few pages of a book on a daily basis, finishing your work, even when you're tired, you're building something far greater than motivation, and that is self-trust. Every act of discipline that you undertake is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. And that's how confidence is built. It doesn't get built through luck or hype only. It gets built through consistency, and consistency over a long period of time. The ninth big lesson I want to share is that you don't have to figure life out. You just have to stay curious. At 16 years of age or 18 years of age or even 20 years of age, you're asked to decide what you want to do for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's I think, a ridiculous expectation from the society, from the family, from anyone. You're not supposed to know yet. The goal right now is not clarity, it's curiosity. So try things, fail at them, observe what excites you, what drains you, what feels natural. Life is less like a straight path and more like a maze. You'll find your way by exploring and only by exploring. And when you're curious, it helps you keep your mind open and your spirit young. The people I've seen who stop being curious, they grow old long before their time. The 10th lesson may sound like a cliche, but it's not. It's about not chasing success, but chasing mastery. We live in a world that is obsessed with speed, that's obsessed with visibility. But the people who build really meaningful lives are the ones who are obsessed with depth and mastery. Now, what is mastery? It is when you fall in love with the process of getting better. And you are not doing it for applause, for recognition, but for the joy of seeing yourself evolve over time. Whether it's writing a poem or writing blogs or designing or coding, teaching, sports, if you go deep, the world will eventually notice. The thing about success is that it really fades fast, but mastery, it lasts a lifetime. So go for the kind that stays. The 11th lesson is that gratitude turns an ordinary life into an extraordinary one. Now, this might sound like the softest of all lessons, but it's the one that changes everything. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. It doesn't mean you stop striving. It just means you stop overlooking. Every night, if you can think of 3 things that went right, however small, you'll slowly train your mind to see abundance around you instead of lack of it. Gratitude does not make life perfect. It makes it enough. And from enough, that's where real peace begins. Now, the thing about life is that these lessons won't make sense right now. You'll hear them, you'll maybe nod along, and you'll move along. But one day, life will hand you a situation, and I can say this from experience, a situation where one of these thoughts quietly comes back. It'll feel like an echo from a younger version of yourself. And in that moment, you'll smile and think, I think I get it now. So don't rush to understand life. It's not a syllabus to complete or an exam to pass. It's a mystery to experience. The idea is to just stay curious. The idea is to be open and honest with yourself, because the lessons will come only when you're ready. If this video made you pause or think even for a moment, I'd love for you to stay connected. Just subscribe to my channel, not because I have all the answers, but because we are trying to explore the questions together. On this channel, I talk about wisdom, choices, and what it really means to live a good, thoughtful life. One that is grounded, one that is kind, and one that is boundless. So please hit that subscribe button. Maybe share this video with someone who might need to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay kind, and take care of that growing mind of yours. Thank you so much.